You guys wondered where this intro song went? I had to bring it back. Let's go.
Rent got too expensive, had to leave LA. San Diego's where I'm headed, I'm mixing it up like a parfait. Playing poker every day, going all in with these fish like I'm at an all-you-can-eat buffet.
What is up, you guys? Back with another video here from San Diego. We've made the trek over the mountain range and we're here by the ocean, and what better place to play than in Oceanside, California. Can't make this up, at Ocean's 11 Casino. Yes, it's a great spot for action here. We're into the 2-3 game at the moment. Might hop into the 2-5 later. We're with some friends. If you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and let me know down in the comments if you appreciate the song coming back. I know it's very polarized. Some of you guys like that Rent Got Too Expensive song. Some of you guys don't, but let me know down below. Wish I could make a poll, but let's get in the hands. Let's go. Yeah, we got Mel here.
Hi. Wolfgang is in the house right now. So
let's go, baby. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oceanside, let's go.
All right, thank you.
We're with our buddy Marcelo for this one. I'm into the 2-3 game for $400. First hand of the night, we look down at pocket nines. Quick side note, if you guys are watching this on Monday, July 25th, it is my birthday. I turned 28 years old. If you guys do nothing else but enjoy this video, drop a comment down below wishing me happy birthday, and let's hope the run good happens in this video. Pocket nines from the button. Under the gun, straddle is on. The hijack raises it up to $25. I put in the call and 3 others do as well. We're going set mining here to a flop of King 6-5 rainbow, and even though we don't smash this board, when the action checks to me, I decide to check behind here. A couple people could be slow playing a king, so when the turn comes a 6 of diamonds and the action checks to me for a second time, gotta go for value now. I think we could get value from any hand like 7-8, 3-4, ace-5 even could pay us off. I bet out for $30, and we're only gonna get looked up by the under the gun position, who was the straddle. When the river comes a deuce of clubs and the straddle checks to me for a third time, could go for thin value, but instead I check behind looking to get to a cheap showdown. What would happen if I bet like $50 on the river and then we get check raised to like 150? We wouldn't love the spot. We'd most likely be behind a king or a 6, so I check behind looking to get to showdown. When the opponent says he missed, I confidently turn over my 9s, which are good enough to scoop in that $185 pot. Next hand of note, King 10 of spades from under the gun, and I pop it up to $15. We get 4 callers, so if you guys like action games, maybe come over to Oceanside and check it out in the future. The flop is King Jack 6 with 2 clubs, so we flop ourselves top pair. Pretty great spot, and the action checks over to me. With $75 in the middle, I'm going to go for a third the size of the pot. $25 is the price of poker, and only the player to my left puts in the call, bringing in the 9 of spades on the turn, giving us a gutter to the straight. Action's on me for the second time here, and I decide to go for a bet of $40, and I think this is a slight mistake. I need to be sizing up here. Somewhere around 80 to 125 is appropriate. $40 is just way too cheap. We're giving the opponent an amazing price to draw to any of his flushes, and he could have a better 2 pair by the river if he just calls this $40 bet and gets lucky. In the moment though, we have to learn from our mistakes. I bet out for 40, and sure enough, he puts in the call, bringing in what seems like a harmless card, the 5 of diamonds. Now I actually like my bet sizing. I bet out again for $40, and the reason why I like it here is because it allows him to call with worse hands. If he had a hand like King 8 or King 7 along with Queen Jack, Ace Jack, those hands can all find a call for $40 where they're never going to be calling for like more than 100. So when I bet out for 40 and he calls, I table my King 10 suited. Sure enough, he shows Queen Jack offsuit, so we get a little bit of thin value there from Queen Jack offsuit, and we're 2 for 2 on the night, up nearly $200. The night is going swimmingly. We're looking to continue the run good. If you guys are enjoying this video so far, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Join the nearly 51,000 of you guys who have already subscribed. Absolutely insane. It's not only an accomplishment for myself, but also you guys as well. Thanks for joining along on the journey, and now back into the hands. I look down at Ace Jack offsuit from under the gun, and I pop it up to $15. Gonna get looked up by the button and the big blind, going 3 ways to a flop of Ace 10 8 rainbow. Big blind checks to me, and occasionally I will be going for a bet here. However, when I'm out of position and in between 2 opponents, I usually start with a check. That's what I do, and the action's on the button. He now leads into the field for $25, and when the big blind gets out of the way, it's a pretty easy decision between check raising and check calling. Although both options are pretty good, in the moment I elect to go for the check call, bringing in a brick, the deuce of diamonds on the turn, and I snap check it over to the button. The button decides to copy and paste his bet from the flop. He bets out for $25 once again, and like the flop action, I do the same. I put in the call, bringing in a board pairing deuce of clubs on the river. Now we could check it over to the opponent for a third time, or we could go for a little blocker type bet here for $30, which is what I decided to do in the moment. Now you might be wondering why I decided to do this bet. If I check it over to the opponent, he's going to check back all of his worst hands, at least in my opinion, I think so. Hands like ace-5, ace-6, they're just going to check back here and get to showdown. Also hands like king-10, queen-10, 9-10 are all going to check behind, but if I bet small for $30, they could find a call and give us a little bit of extra value, and that's what poker's all about, squeezing out extra value in spots where it doesn't seem like you can get any. I bet out for $30, but unfortunately he folds. Still, I really like my bet there on that river. When the table breaks, we're on to the next one. That's the beauty of big casinos. There's a lot of games that you can choose from. I decided to sit down at this one. At the first hand, we look down at the snowman from the big blind. The cutoff raises it up to $15. The button now puts in a 3-bet, but it's a small one at that. $35 in the small blind calls. Now normally with a hand like pocket 8, I'd be coming in for a re-raise here. When the button 3-bets, that's pretty strong. He 3-bets small to 35, so I can confidently just cold call here and look to see an 8 on the flop and hopefully scoop a large one. When I put in the call, the cutoff does as well. We're going 4 ways to a flop, which comes 7-5 deuce rainbow, giving us an overpair. Never going to be leading into the field, so I start with a check. The action's over to the button, who goes for a really weird bet around the 10th the size of the pot for $20. Small blind puts in the call and the action's on me. Can I ever be check raising here? And I think the answer is yes. I could be a small portion of the time. Sure, the small blind could have pocket 7s. The button could have some overpairs, but at the same time, we could protect our hand from 2 overcards or just like some backdoor draws like ace-4 of diamonds, ace-4 of spades, things of that nature. But instead, I'm a wimp. I just put in the $20 and that brings in the turn, which comes the 4 of diamonds. We now pick up a gutter to the straight, and the small blind doesn't check it over to me. He actually leads out for $90. We still have our overpair, but when the small blind leads into the field, it's super strong. I look to pick a better spot here and just muck my cards, but no worries, we're going to see how this hand plays out when the button puts in the call, affirming my suspicion that I did not have the best hand. When the river comes a 10 of diamonds, and small blind and big blind both check. When it gets to showdown, the button turns over pocket jack, so we were in rough shape there, and glad I saved an extra $90 on the turn. It's 1:30 in the morning and I look down at queen 9 of hearts from under the gun and I raise it up to $15. Pretty standard so far, and the button and big blind both call as well. We're off 3 ways to a flop, which comes queen high, queen 7 deuce rainbow. Pretty great for us. Big blind checks it over to me, and like I said before, I'm out of position to the button. And on these 3-way out of position flops, I usually start with a check and the button checks behind, bringing in the 5 of diamonds on the turn. When the turn checks to me for a second time, gotta go for value now with our top pair. We gotta feel like we're good in this spot. I bet out for a quarter and the button looks me up. When the river comes to 8 of clubs, actions on me once again, and I bet out for $65, looking to get value from any worse hands. There are a few I can think of, and the button puts in the call. I turn over my cards. He says that's good. Looks like we got some thin value once again. Pretty great spot to pick up another $225 pot. Let's go. Ace 3 of diamonds are the next 2 cards we're going to go to battle with. I'm in the hijack and the straddle is on. The +1 calls. Naturally, I'm going to raise it up here with a good hand like ace 3 suited. I make it $25, and the big blind and the +1 player both call. We're going 3 ways to a flop of queen 10-3 with 2 spades. The action checks over to me, and even though we made a pair and we should have some range advantage on this board, I decide to check behind given the fact that we're multi-way. Not really trying to get into a spot where I bet here and then get raised and get blown off my hand. When I check back, we see a favorable turn card in the Ace of Hearts. We now pick up 2 pair, thereby beating hands like Queen 10 and 10-3, although I don't really think they're playing 10-3. Big blind checks it over to the player in the +1 position on my right, and he bets out for $35. Now when we make 2 pair, we got to get value, and there's a lot of draws out there we can get value from. Hands like Jack 9 and any hands with 2 spades in it, we can definitely get value from, so I decided to raise it up to $100. Not looking to give the opponent a cheap price. I probably could have even sized up to like 130, 140, but I didn't, and he puts in the call, bringing in the 9 of hearts on the river. When the opponent checks to me on the river, gotta go for value with my 2 pair. A lot of things we can still get money from. He checks it over to me, and I bet out for $115, which I think is pretty standard. The opponent snap calls me and turns over Ace 10 of diamonds. So he played that one pretty interestingly and pretty well in my opinion, and he's going to take down that $500 pot. A shame that we get 2 paired over 2 paired. Kind of a cooler turn card there when he makes a better 2 pair than us, and he's going to take down that $500 pot. $550 now in our stack. I look down at the ladies from the small blind. The few limps to me, and I raise it up to $20. Going to get looked up by Ali and the player from under the gun. Going 3 ways to a flop of Queen 10-4. Bang! We flop top set. Great spot for us, and usually I'd check into this field, but given the fact there's a lot of draws out there like King Jack, Jack 9, and any heart draw, we're going to bet out here for $20. Now I don't really like my sizing, probably should be sizing up to like $30 to $40, charging the opponents the maximum given the fact there's 2 other opponents in the hand. Either way though, Ali smells that this is a great price and puts in the call. Bringing in a blank though, the 6 of diamonds on the turn. $100 in the middle. I like any sizing above 2/3. In the moment, I decide to bet out for $65, and he's now in the tank. Could he be debating it with a hand like King Jack? Sure. Could he be debating it with a hand that has 2 hearts in it? Yes. Although I think he just has to call with those hands in position. But he gets rid of it and he mucks his card, so maybe he had a hand like 9-10 or 10 Jack. Either way, we're going to take down another pot. 2 more to go here. We look down at King Jack offsuit from the small blind. Few limps over to me, and I raise it up to $15. Gonna get looked up in 2 spots and see a king high board, King 7-3 rainbow. Action's on me, and I go for a bet once again of $20. And no action here. Both players are chicken and fold their cards. Just raise it and take it poker going on here from Oceanside, California. When the table breaks again, we're at our final table, the resting point of the night. I look down at Queen Jack of hearts from the button, and the straddle's on. Low Jack pops it up to $26. Now we could be going for the 3-bet around $80 to $90, but in the moment I decide to call with my suited Broadway, suited connectors here, and put in the $26. The straddle also calls, so we're going 3 ways to a flop, but we're in position, and the power position has never been more apparent. When we look down at Ace 8 deuce on the flop with 2 hearts. Under the gun checks, and the hijack now continues for $45. Could be going for a raise here, although when the hijack raises pre and then bets into the field here, he probably has a strong ace. I'd assume at least Ace 10 suited. So I'm not going to raise here and get into a spot where we're going to get 3-bet and then have to be in a weird spot. I decide to put in the $45, and the under the gun gets out of the way. The best card to see on the turn would of course be the King of Hearts, but we'd also take a card like the King of Clubs, now giving us a Broadway straight draw. Hoping the opponent bets anywhere around $80 to $90, and we could just call it off here and see what happens. Instead though, he rips it all in for $250, putting us in a weird spot. I think we have 12 outs here. We have the 9 heart outs and then the 3 10 outs. We can't count the other 10 because it's the 10 of hearts, which is already included in our heart calculation. So we have around 12 outs. With 1 card to come, we have around 25% chance of hitting our hand, assuming we're behind like a set or an ace. We're not really getting the best price to call, so in these kind of spots when the math doesn't check out, I muck my cards, but I get the dealer to show us the card after I stop filming, and he showed the Ace of Diamonds. Definitely a great fold there, and it was confirmed with us not sucking out on the river. With that being said, we rack up our chips and head over to the cage, turning our chips into cold, hard cash.
All right, you guys got into that game for 400, out for 473, profit of $73 on the session. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new, leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video as always. Peace.
Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.